influence the fruit quality is the crop management, for example, pruning, fertilizing, etc. This is about the point I will be not come in details. The other point that is very important and that I will become a little bit in the next slide is the optimal harvest date. And that I will be concentrating more time is the storage condition. The optimal harvest date is essential for the fruit quality and storability. For understand the optimal harvest date, we have one connection between two lines. That is the fruit quality. If we delay the harvest date, we increase this curve that you can see here. On the other hand, if we see the storability, if you delay the harvest date, will be decrease. And here is the open question. What we like to make with our product is to processing, then the storability is not so many important, and we can delay the optimal harvest time. On the other hand, if we like to storage for have the fresh product during the total year, then we need to find the compromise between these both lines. And the optimal harvest date is this compromise depending what we like to make with our product. For apple, we have different parameters that we can determine the optimal harvest date. Is firmness, the starting pattern, and also the total solute content. We have another thing, but I concentrate in these three because this can calculate the strife index. This one hive index that is more used here in Europe, and is the firmness divided to start pattern divided to total solute solid. And also less is this value, and so high is the fruit. Here you can see how make the calculation, and for which variety there are exact value for the optimal harvest date. And here you can see in this table, for example, one recommendation from our institute for some apple varieties, and also for peers. And this value can vary a little bit between year to year, to third or to region. But if you calculate this index, you will be more constant that I use individual parameters. Also, for in the lesson time, we use also some non-destructive methodology. Is the most used use the spectroscopy. Is fast, simple, inexpensive. The open question is the accuracy. You can see here some good relation or correlation. And the insert is the factor, for example, the fruit temperature, if you measure in the field, the variety, the fruit cultivation factors, and also the light. If you see the three different equipment or deviations that you can see in the picture, this is the Rubens, is from Australia. This is the diameter from Italy, if I don't make mistake. And this is the Felix instrument from USA. I think is the F750. You can see this both don't have one protection because they light. And the Rubens here have one protection. While giving interesting results and have different price. One other factor that is very important is the effect of the ethylene. The ethylene comes from one amino acid and with different enzyme come to ethylene. If you see this last reaction here is dependent of the oxygen. The ethylene come in the ethylene receptor in the membrane of the endoplasmatic reticulum and gives some signal. And this signal can activate ethylene genes or hyperenzyme genes and change the process. The factor that we can change during the storage can reduce this process. And if we use low temperature, low oxygen, higher CO2, we can reduce the synthesis and also the reaction. We can use also the MSP, that is one blocker from the ethylene receptor, but I will be not come in detail for this point. Here you can see one illustration in my slide about the importance of the ethylene. The ethylene is one plant hormone that is produced from the fruit, and if the fruit produce this ethylene, then will be heighten the fruit. What is important? The important is the timely harvest and appropriate storage condition that delayed in synthesis and the action from the ethylene. Yeah, now we come in the topic that I like to explain for you in the next slide. The fruit storage. To start, and I like to remember that apple is also one living product after we harvest this fruit. Then the apple can respirate, they produce a heat, then lose water, fall ill, and died. And the activity in post-harvest physiology and technology is to reduce this process and to maintain the best fruit quality that is possible without or with reduce this process that we can see here, the respiration, produce a heat, etc. What is the storage factor with influencing the storability? I told before that we can use, and for me the most important is the appropriate temperature. Additional from the temperature, we can use the ventilation and the humidity or humidification. This factor have an interaction with the water. And also additional, we can have the change of the atmosphere. Reduce oxygen, increase carbon dioxide, eliminate in some case the ethylene, or use the blockade from ethylene, the one MCP, or I think the program will be also told about jasmonate, but I will be not told in my presentation. One of these factors is depend of the time that we like to storage. Because if I store the fruit only with cool storage, don't change the storage atmosphere, then I can storage maximal from 3 to 5 months, depend of the variety. If it's apples, for water fruit, we need the look. Here I tried to bring the development of the modern storage system. If we think in our ancestral, they were ancestral take also the storage of the fruit or vegetables with one empirical results, and was the natural storage in the place in the room that have the coolest temperature, or some place that tried to make this fresh temperature. Then we have one storability. Around 1955, we have the development of the machine cooling and humidification, then start the cool storage. And you can see here, improve the storability. Some years later, 1965, with improve of insulation, gas look, CO2 absorber, we can see with the conventional CA, I will be classified 3% oxygen, 3% CO2, then we can improve more the storability of this fruit. Then around 1919, with the development with nitrogen separator, lung, electronic measurement, control divisions, we get the ULO, the ultra-low oxygen storage. Until now was only the static storage condition. After 2005, we have the dynamic. We tried to make one interaction between the fruit and the storage management of the storage facility. And for this, we can use ethanol or chlorophyll sensors, respiration coefficient, or CO2 measure. And this is the dynamic control atmosphere that I will become more in detail in next slide. All of this methodology you can use also then one MCP that can reduce the synthesis and the action of the ethylene. I told that the most important is the refrigeration, and here in Europe we have one change in the rules, and we need to evaluate the refrigeration solution that have low global warming potential. That is the CO2, the propane, and the ammoniac. I think you have more one synthetic product, but this is also with the freon, and that is more damage for the environment. And is this that the European Union like to reduce. And what we make in this project is to compare the different system, CO2 propane, to the regular that is used in our region, that is freon with 134H. We have here different rooms, and in this room, which room have one different system to see how is the maintenance of the quality and also how many cost of energy, maintenance, etc., etc. The CO2 is one very interesting refrigeration solution, but for very low temperature. In the range from April, storability from 1 to 3 degrees Celsius is not the most appropriate, and this we have also investigated. The propane and ammoniac need be make with one indirect cooling, and this lose also a little bit the efficiency. Yeah, in this project, only to see, we have a lot of sensor. You can see how many activity we need make to take all of these results and these comparisons. And here, one aspect that we can also investigation is the condensation measurement. We have a fluctuation in the temperature, and with very high temperature can condensate water in the fruit, and this is one appropriate condition to development of fungal disease, and this need to be reduced is also one effect that we tried to investigate in this project. Yeah, here only to see how creative the research need be the best sensor is to use the apple to have the wetness sensor, surface, fruit surface temperature, ambient temperature, R speed loggers, and here you can see how we take in this project. Yeah, the effect of the temperature, we can look at the appropriate temperature, but what is an appropriate temperature for no-coat sensitive fruit? Here I put some list of no-coat sensitive fruit. What will be happen if we store the fruit around 40 degrees Celsius? That will become heat damage. If we store between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius, the optimum range for fruit ripening. The null 0 to 5 degrees Celsius is the optimum range for transport and storage. And if we come more down in the temperature, then can come the cold or freezing damage. Yeah, here I like this picture is from USA Davis. If we store banana in 2 weeks, if it's 20 degrees Celsius is appropriate for ripening, you can see this brown that is influenced from the senescence process. 50 degrees Celsius, I think, is optimal for harvest for banana. 10 degrees Celsius, I hope that you can see is a little bit discoloration. The yellow is a little bit white. Also, here 5 degrees Celsius during 2 weeks, we have green banana, but it started to be a little bit brown. And in 0 degrees Celsius, you can see the really damage in the banana that is very brown. But this boat here is also one cold damage, and here is one freezing damage in the banana. Yeah, here the relationship between storage temperature and storage duration. If you reduce the temperature, for example, in apples and pears, you can see that it increases the storability of this fruit until one point, that is the maximal point, and then fall down because it start the cool damage or freezing damage. For fruit like guava and avocado, is similar line or curve, but the appropriate temperature is around 7 to 10 degrees Celsius. For mango and banana is more high, but is also very similar this curve. What is necessary for we use the control atmosphere, which is the technical equipment for 1CA room. The first we need the fruit that you can see here. We have here the ambient condition, around 21% oxygen, 0.03 or 0.04 CO2, and the rest is nitrogen. We need one refrigerating and cool system, and also the fruit will be respiration, change the atmosphere, and here we can see that we need the gas tank doors or heat and cold isolation gas barrier in the one and in the cover or flow. We need some measurement instrument like oxygen and CO2 gas analyzer, the sensor like humidity, temperature sensors, the valve and loom for pressure compensation, because if we cooling, then will be one depression. And if the fruit give warm and the air will be increase the temperature, can have a higher pressure and can include or explode the room this is the region that, and the lung is also one part that we can save the lung, the air from the room in the lung, that if you have this expansion or compression from the air that is saved in the lung before go in the fresh air or fresh atmosphere. The fruit will be a respiration also more that the optimal condition, for example, 1 to 3% or 5% CO2, if the fruit respiration more need to be absorbed the CO2 that is produced in excess. And also the nitrogen separator to reduce the oxygen or to maintain a little bit higher the pressure in some case in DCA is necessary. Here you can see the establishment of the CA condition if the fruit go to only to respiration, and you can see that will be have a duration around from 26 days. Can you see this behavior in the line is because if the CO2 absorber start will be every time come a little bit from oxygen in the room. If we have the possibility to make the pull down with the fusion of nitrogen, we can reach the optimal condition from CA around in 1 week. Here, how we produce this nitrogen? We can get the nitrogen from atmosphere and separate the nitrogen and oxygen and also water gas. We have the system with pressure, swing adsorption, or the second system is with vacuum. One third system is with membrane separating that come the air here, the nitrogen will become back in this membrane and the oxygen and CO2 can come outside from the membrane. Yeah, here maybe you can see, I hope that you can show it, no. Here how working it come the nitrogen with a higher pressure 8 bar, then will be separated and the oxygen will be maintained in the coal. Yeah, and here we have the nitrogen production that we can inject in the room. Then will be saturated this coal, then change the system. Here will be with low pressure and here with a higher. And then this will be regenerating and the second system will be produced. You can see then come the oxygen that was in this column and then come down and this can come here. Yeah. The similar process is also in the CO2 absorber that come here enriched CO2 air from the storage room. The CO2 will be state connecting in this column and then here come fresh air. Yeah. One alternative system is use lime hydrating, and the disadvantage from this method is that at the end of the storage, we have the lime like waste. And only that you have an idea, it is a recommended or use 2% of the volume. You need use of this lime hydrate, and is around one room with 100 ton fruit. You need put 2 tons of the lime, and this maybe you can later use like a fertilizer, but you will be needed this place that normal will be for fruit, then you need to put for this lime that will be absorption the CO2 and don't make damage in the fruit. Yeah, here I tried to show what we need in one modern CA storage with any homes. That here is the home with different size from 15, 16 and 100 ton. Here you need the air compressor, the tank for air, the PSCA, the CO2 absorber, the gas analyzer, here the compressor for refrigerating thing. One very important thing for fruit, we can reduce the oxygen or reduce the respiration and so have one better preservation for the fruit quality. For human or for people, this cannot be used. And the condition that we use at the moment, 1% oxygen or 0.5 I have in my rooms or less 0.4. This is in last minute the people can die. Then this is one very Danish problem. And before you come inside of the room, you need to take the fresh air in the rooms. Here you open this ventile, you open this, and with ventilation will be take the fresh air in the room. First ventilation, not the internal ventilation, but that come from both sides. The air inside increase the temperature, then open the room to can come safe in the room and take the fruit. This is very important. You can even think, oh, why did Daniel explain this? Because every year I see in the news case that the people died in storage facility or fruit storage facility because don't think that the low oxygen can be damage of life. Here you can see the CA storage, only that you have one idea. These bins is 1 cubic meters, and which of these bins we have around 300 kilo of apples. In general, we told which 3 bins we have 1 tons, and then one room with 200 tons like this here we have around 600 ton of bins. Sorry, 600. Yeah. What is also necessary? We need to have very nice or very well gas analyzer. And is important that make the calibration of this gas with different gas concentration, for example 0.0 that you can see here, and one in this system we use 4 and 4 to calibrate. Also calibrating in 0 degrees Celsius the temperature sensors that will be prerequisite for have one good results in the storability. Also, every day we need the control if we have the optimal storage condition. In this case, 1%, 1.5% oxygen, 2.2% CO2, the temperature around 2 degrees Celsius here. and you can see that you have one small fluctuation in the refrigeration in the air. In the fruit, this will be more constantly. Yeah, for the next system that I will be told, that is the DCA, we need to check how hermetic is this room, and then we put one pressure in the room, for example, 10 millimeters from water column, and look at how many times need to reduce this column. And for DCA, we need one very hermetic and that reduce very low this pressure that you can see here in this graphic, in these pictures. Yeah, I told that need some ventils that you can see here. Here only that you see the lung, that is one safe place for the air atmosphere from the room that don't go in outside of the atmosphere, and then every time if you need to come from outside that come fresh luft, then come first from this lung. Here that you can see the effect of the storage condition on the respiration of apple. I put here 12 degrees Celsius in the normal condition, atmosphere condition, because this is one condition in your region in the time from the harvest. For example, October, we have an average from the temperature from 12 degrees Celsius. Maybe in India and Brazil, I know that is more higher, then the effect of the cool system will be more bigger. But if we reduce from 12 to 1 degree Celsius, you can see here that they reduce a lot of the metabolic factor of the fruit, will be reduce the respiration. If we change the gas concentration from normal air to 3% oxygen to 3% CO2, we reduce more. If you use ULU, will be reduce more the respiration rate. If you use ULU plus MCP or DCA, reduce more and have a best preservation of this fruit. Here to see how is the fruit quality, for example, from Gold Delicious variety after 9 months of the storage, for firmness, green color, acidity, and aroma compounds. The green column here is the start of the value in the harvest. If we storage in ULU, would be reduce a little bit the firmness, or will be loose the firmness, and acidity will be changed a little bit from green to yellow color, and we have a little bit the production from aroma. If we use one normal CA, 3% oxygen, 3% CO2, will be more reduce the firmness and acidity, more change from green to yellow color, and also, on the other hand, more production of the aroma compounds. If you see here, only cool storage for 9 months is too much. And we have a bigger reduction from firmness and acidity, one bigger change from green to yellow color. On the other hand, and like I learned in my time if I student, that modern the technology, we preserve better the parameter like firmness, green color, and acidity. On the other hand, had loose in the aroma production. Now I tried to make not only in apple but water fruit the tolerance of fruits should reduce oxygen and increase CO2 concentration. I think for oxygen is quickly easy. If the most fruit, we can store between 1 and 2% of oxygen. Citrus, I don't have so many experience, but in the literature I find between 5 and 6%. For CO2, Sitting a little bit more complicated, we have, for example, apricot, pears, and braver varieties that are very susceptible for CO2 and need to be reduced so much that is possible with the system that can be very easy come damage of the fruit. Some other varieties like Gala are more less susceptible for CO2, can storage between 2 and 3%. Other variety like Gold Delicious can be more higher, between 3 to 5% CO2. On the other hand, persimmon, avocado, mango, banana, we can store with 6 to 8 or 10% CO2. Water fruit like plums, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, we can store between 10 to 15% of CO2. And water fruit like red currants and cherries, we can be very close to 20% of CO2. How we can make this recommendation? And here I make one graphic. If we make a lot of experiment with different conditions, and if you reduce the oxygen concentration and evaluating how is the fruit condition, you can see yellow or white is quickly don't have effect. The green is the best in effect, and the red is the stop that can start the damage. The same for CO2, and which come this connection from the oxygen and CO2. For example, in this case, 1 to 2% of oxygen and 3 to 4% is the optimal condition. If we have different condition, or don't have effect, or suboptimal effect, or have damage in the head part, but what is important is the optimal effect, for example, for wool condition. And this is which will be have the best preservation of the fruit quality or the storability of this fruit. Now to start the dynamic control atmosphere. First, how was until now the storage in CA, or for some years ago? The optimum storage conditions are determined in multiple years experiment. Is one experience, and with this experience we make one recommendation. Will be one constant storage condition regarding to oxygen and carbon dioxide during the total storage season. But here we have one conservative condition. We have one safety margin. If we have some mistake and this will be quickly see, then don't come the damage very quickly. What is new in the dynamic control atmosphere? The oxygen concentration is lowered down to the anaerobic compensation point. I'll be explaining in the next slides. The storage condition is adapted to the reaction of the fruit. We tried to make one dialogue, one conversation between the fruit and the storage manager. We have the maximal condition or apply and don't have safe margin. We need to make more control in the storage condition. Here to understand the anaerobic compensation point, if you reduce the oxygen concentration, we reduce the respiration or the production of CO2 until one minimal that then is starting very quickly or increase very quickly. The storability of the apple will be increased if we reduce the oxygen until one maximal, and in this maximal then fall down very fast. this maximal storability and minimal CO2 production is the anaerobic compensation point that change the aerobic respiration to anaerobic respiration. And if you get one concentration less than this anaerobic point will be, then come the damage. Here I tried to improve this graphic. We have the similar lines from CO2 production, the consumption of oxygen. Here's, for example, the CA wool condition. And here the fruit quality, if we monitor the minimal oxygen limit for DCA. I don't put only one line because this can be dynamic and can be adaptate the fruit to the condition, and the fruit tolerate every time a little bit more stress if you don't start the senescence process. Here we can see the anaerobic respiration starting with a higher condition of oxygen, but the very increase is close to the anaerobic compensation point. And here we can use different process like chlorophyll fluorescence, respiration coefficient, ethanol production, or CO2 production rated. Here, for example, to see how is the production of CO2 in different stages of the storage. In the start, if the fruit come in the storage, I tried to compare like the people, if you go to the gym, have full active, and if you come in the storage is full active and cannot sleep so quickly. Then we have here one tolerance in a high condition of oxygen. If the fruit adapted to this condition, then can tolerate more or less condition of oxygen. And at the end, that we like it to be close to the end of the storage. If you don't start the senescence process, then the fruit tolerate more or less condition of oxygen. Here you can see how to control the critical oxygen concentration. I don't put in the method that will be fine. The first that will be find and make some research was about ethanol in 1997. Then the chlorophyll fluorescence, I think the first were Robert Prange from Canada. And the method that more used in the world is from ISOCELL, the harvest watch system. Also have some system from respiration coefficient from Bischoff, von Ameron, then Professor Brackman, that was my supervisor in my PhD, and also the measure of CO2 production from one company in Germany. How is the concept from DCA storage? How is the dialogue from the chlorophyll fluorescence? We have the fruit, we put this fruit in the storage and put in these sensors. Then the sensor had here one light, and here the sensor from chlorophyll fluorescence. Then if the fruit are normal, don't have one stress, come one signal, and the fruit, is normal. Then it started to continue reduce and come one stress, one anoxia. Then this will be changed, will be altered the chlorophyll fluorescence. And this come in the system, and then we increase a little bit the oxygen condition in the storage, and then disappears this stress signal. And then it's normal. And then we can wait and repeat this system, or we told this is the point that I like to store until the end. What is the chlorophyll fluorescence? Is what the emission between 690 to 730 the value length. And how can imagine this? Yeah, here the paper from Prange, but if you have a reagent glass and put a chlorophyll extract and put one light, like in the system here, and if you see this red reflection light, this is the chlorophyll fluorescence. Is this that will be measured? And how can you see this signal in the system, in the software? We have here, for example, the oxygen condition that will be reduced, and here the chlorophyll fluorescence signal. And you can see here, I hope that all can see, that will be increased this signal. And if you see that increasing, don't need to wait one very higher increase. If you have an increase, okay, increase the oxygen concentration, and then will be reduced. And this peak here is the stress of the fruit. If we make the similar for the ULU condition, we come to 1% oxygen. You can see that the chlorophyll fluorescence maintains constant during the storage. For most recent investigation, the colleague from North Germany investigating with the chlorophyll fluorescence imaging, and I tried to illustrate this. Here you have, with a regular R, make one head time chlorophyll fluorescence imaging picture, and you can see in a regular R, the fruit don't have stress. If the fruit is in one epoxy condition, 0.2% or kilopascal oxygen, then you can see this red area here of the fruit, and this showed that the fruit have one stress. Here only that you see how was the condition, the past condition recommendation for some fruit, pears or apples, and here the actual value. You can see that the recommendation go very down. Yeah, you can ask, but this method will be used in the world, and then I have this data from ISOCELL, that is the company that have the license from this hard watch system, and we can see in Italy we have seit 2008 relative constant values, but in the world it increasing close to linear every year. Another system from ethanol system I have different, but I get from this from Van Ameron, from Holland or Netherlands, that they whom are connected with one box that have the similar or identical condition, and in some moment will be closed in connection with the normal room to look at how many ethanol will be produced in this room. And if increase the production, the ethanol is the information or the moment that the fruit have the stress, and then need to increase the oxygen condition. The other, I put like language or principle of the DCA is the respiration coefficient, and what we need make it to measure, and with the CO2 absorber and oxygen injection are stopped during the first and the second measure. And then we have from first to second measure one difference. In this case, the CO2 was 0.4 and the O2 0.2. And then if you divide 0.4 to 0.2, we have a respiration coefficient. If the respiration coefficient that I like is 1.5, then I need to reduce the anaerobic respiration. So I need increase, I need a bit the oxygen. Don't 0.7, but maybe 0.8. If I like one respiration,